Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Chasing Collectibles Catchup. I'm Tyler,
I'm Tim.
I'm Lauren.
and we are thrilled to have a returning guest. And it seems to be around this time that you show up. It's May. Heroes Con is coming up, so we have Mr. Shelton Drum. Welcome, Shelton.
Howdy. Thanks for having me.
We're
Yes. Good to
super
have you
pumped to
back.
have
I
you
know we
back.
talked to you a few months ago, maybe even longer than that.
It was probably a year ago, but the time flies when you're having fun, it seems
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
and getting older.
that's a little scary. Uh,
Tell me about
yeah, so we got your show coming back around this calendar year, coming up in June. So last year was the 40th anniversary of the Heroes Con. So how was that? What was that like? And just tell us all about that. I know that I think that was the first show back since the whole pandemic thing. So
it.
was
Yeah.
how was that for you guys and just overall?
Well, it was nice to be back. I think, you know, the 40th anniversary was cool, and it was a nice thing to celebrate. But the real celebration was being back to close to normal. The excitement at the
Mhm.
show was just off the hook. I mean, everybody was just so glad to be back to doing what we love to do. Uh, and the market was just as hot as it has ever been. I think that was really the peak of the pandemic punch, you know. Um, so all the vendors were just having a great weekend, and all the creators were having a good time, and I think all the fans had a good time. And so yeah, it was just all over good. Nice to be back.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm sure the people of Charlotte and the surrounding areas are looking forward to this year as well. So over the last what is it, four decades or so, what's that? How has the show sort of evolved, from the beginning to now in in your opinion?
Well, it started as a comic book show, and it's
Yeah.
still a comic book show as compared to a pop culture show in general. Um, so that hasn't changed. The change is that it's become well known, and it's become well attended, and it's exponentially bigger than it was obviously when it started.
Hmm.
We went through some fads and changes in some of those middle years to try to survive, I guess, and keep up. We had magic tournaments back in the day, and some Pokemon involvement. And, um, but over time, my business model in the store evolved away from a general pop culture store to a comic collectibles store, and the show reflects what we do every day: sell comics
And we love
and sell.
that.
Yeah, go ahead.
I say, yeah, and we love that. We do.
Hmm.
We'll get it. You guys are going to be there this year, I understand, in full force selling comics too.
Well, yeah, actually that's this will be our first time setting up there and being vendors there and I know we're really excited to be doing it. This is something we've been working towards. Um, because I mean your show, in our area, I mean, it's kind of like for us, it's like going to Super Bowl,
Yeah.
it's just we can't wait. We just to bring everything we've got and just
We
go in
got
there and we've done a lot of big shows. We've done medium-sized shows, but this will be like our biggest.
Well, great. Well, glad to have you. I hope you do well, and hope you have fun, and maybe add something to your own collections. That's been my priority here the last several years, is find something I haven't seen or don't have at a show.
That's been one of the hardest things with doing as many shows as we've done in the past year, is I'm used to doing maybe a couple shows a year just as a attendee, and then going to so many as a vendor. You see things that you want, but then you're going to like 2 shows a month, or at least a show a month, and you're like, I can't spend as much money as I did per show back in the day. Because
You got to figure out how to make those trades.
yeah,
You know,
exactly.
trade away some extra stuff and get what you need.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. It must be cool with the show being 40 years old. How I mean, I've noticed that people, often you'll see people who like bring their kids, for cosplay, or bring the kids to like, get their first comics and buy their first, toys and things like that, and people are having a great time. And I imagine a lot of people that are coming now, probably attended when they were younger. So it must be a big,
yeah,
thing.
absolutely. I see some third generation collectors, granddad, dad, and the kids that were my customers. The granddad was, he was my age. I've got customers that started at the flea market in the early '70s that I still see every week, and then I see a lot of them at the show that I don't see every week, but they're still interested and still in the industry somehow. So yeah,
That's awesome.
generations.
Yeah, well, that's a huge thing because we want to make sure people keep on buying comics for years to come. So that definitely helps with that.
I sure hope so. My son's working in the store now too, and he's probably about you guys' age, so I'm sure he's hoping it's going to continue too. I don't see the paper going away, and there's plenty of old paper in the market to keep us all going for a long time anyway. So if they stop making comics today, I think we'll still have plenty to swap and trade and buy and sell.
Yeah,
They're not going to stop.
so
Yeah, that's good to hear. I never really thought about that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think there are more titles today than there ever have been. Um,
Yeah.
when you add in variants and stuff, it's a major operation every week to get new comics on the rack. So
Oh, yeah,
it's not going away. It's just growing bigger and bigger.
Lauren and I, we did that when we worked at Nickel Spot, and on Tuesday nights, laying everything out and all that, and that was the process. And we had compared to like, I mean, the scale that you guys do, I mean, it's impressive. So that's awesome. And you have a great staff too. So that's
Well, thank you. You know, the ordering process never stops. We're constantly working on either the order form or the FOC, or getting the numbers together to get to those order forms. But Monday and Tuesday all day is just preparing for Wednesday. I guess it's that way all over the country.
Yeah,
it is for us.
Wow.
well, so you talked about 40 years of Heroes Con. This will be year 41. What are some are there any kind of new things to expect for this year?
Well, after 40 years, we're not going to change it too much. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. We have added one more section in the convention center, so now we've contracted for all 280,000 square feet. That's just a small change, but it gives a little bit more room for cosplay and some of the other stuff on the C hall side, as well as add some more vendor space. I was a little worried last year when we opened up Hall C to vendors that it might not be very well trafficked. And I went over there on Saturday and it was just packed. So I think it's going to be able to handle it.
Excellent.
Our ticket sales are up, and interest seems to be real high. So the guest list is very exciting for me. So I hope it is for everybody else. A lot of guys either here for the first time or coming back first time in a while that I'm excited to, hang out with for the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I am too. I love going to a lot of panels and things like that I get to see a lot of artists and writers that I typically don't hear from.
Yeah.
Just, talk about what they do and everything like that. And while we're kind of talking about panels and stuff like that, are there any special panels or events for the convention that that you're particularly excited about?
Well, I'm not real involved in setting up the panels. some of our, I guess you might call bigger guests, we want to make sure they get on panels, and that they want, it fits their schedule. But we have a great staff. Andy Mansell and my main man, Seth Pegler, are always working on making exciting and insightful panels. And we start with way more than we can fit. So now it's a process of, whittling down and seeing exactly what is the best mix of panels to do. And this, the panel schedule is not even finished yet, but you got to contact all the people involved, and you got to make it all fit into the schedules, and got the right AV in the rooms that they're running in. And I don't know, it's a complicated thing that I'm glad that they do instead of me.
Something
But
I've
there'll
been-
be some great panels for sure. All the big names will be on at least one panel during the weekend, and a lot of them, especially writers, will be on panels every day.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw the other day you guys are going to be having Roy Thomas there. So I'm really excited to see him. I've
Roy's
never
a Saturday regular.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go check out his panel for sure, and I'm hoping to get something of his that I have signed. And
Yeah,
Roy's I was just telling the guys before we had gotten started. I mean, Roy's a legend.
he is a legend. Yeah, I mean, he was there when I started getting, seriously interested in comics. So he's been there my whole comic career, you might say. I'm excited about Michael Urie's 20th anniversary back issue panel. Michael is from around here. He was a customer and a friend back in the early 80s, and he went off and edited at Comico and DC and Dark Horse, and he's been back home for several years now and doing the back issue magazine. So he's a terrific guy. 20th anniversary, so we're pretty excited about that. There's a lot of sentimental stuff going on for me personally, and it's like a reunion for me. This is my family,
Yeah.
and my family will be there too, so it works out. My real
That's
family.
Yeah. So talking about families and people, do you have any recommendations for someone, or people coming with families that's never been to Heroes convention before? What anything that you would think would be best for them to get the most out of their day or their weekend that
Yeah.
they're going to be
Well,
spending?
it depends a little bit on the age of the family members. I think the younger set particularly enjoy the cosplay. Last year was the first year we didn't have a cosplay contest. We had runway shows each day, like just show off what you got and let people enjoy it. And we're doing that again and expanding that somewhat. So the little kids love to see heroes and villains, and adults do too, obviously. But I think that's one thing that small kids would get out of it. If anybody in the family is a collector and they're looking for anything, or just want to reminisce what they maybe had or wish they had, of course the vendors all over the hall are going to have beautiful things to look at and buy. But you don't have to buy. You can just marvel at them. If there's artistic members of the family, might want to watch the live art stage.
Those are always cool.
Yeah, where the creators get up there and give us a little time and create a masterpiece that we can auction off on Saturday night. That's not an obligation for them, but we appreciate it when they do contribute to it, and it helps keep the show alive and growing. It really does help a lot. One thing that I'm real proud of is we have creators from all through the industry, you know, from brand new guys trying to break into seasoned professionals who want to come to HeroesCon. And it takes some money to get people travel expenses and hotel expenses, and we try to entertain and have a good green room, and you know, all those things just add up. So it's real nice when the creators do contribute and help us raise some money. But that's not the only time we have auctions. There's one on Friday night for Team Cul-de-sac. Raises money for Parkinson's research through the Michael J. Fox Foundation. That's a fun night. It raises a good bit of money. We usually have a live band in there, and everybody's just having a big time drawing on coasters, and some of it gets sold, some of it gets traded, and some of it you just take home, you know. So those things are cool for the artistic people. We have quick draw contests for all age groups. That's when you get 20 minutes and a piece of paper and a couple of pencils and do what you can. And there are prizes for that. What else is going on? Things go on that I don't know about. Sometimes I don't get all the way around the room. And last year, I remember I got to one spot. It's like, what? We have chocolate candy for sale? This is great. I love chocolate. But it was like molded candy in, you know, like superhero forms and stuff. So, and there are a lot of there's a lot of apparel. You know, if you just like superheroes and superhero movies or comic book anything, there's probably a shirt or a hat or a dress or something that would show off who you like.
Right.
So yeah, I think there's something for everybody.
It is so
I
much.
think you can get blood too. We got the blood drive there too. We had some kind of crazy record last year, like 250 pints or something.
Wow.
We're given over the course of the weekend. So
That's
you can be a hero.
that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
It is so much to do. I mean, even if you don't like stop all that long at each place, I mean, just like walking the entire convention, I mean, it's a couple hours worth at least.
Oh, that's a
You're
job,
doing it
especially
right.
on a midday of any of the days when it's real crowded. It's hard to get through sometimes.
One of the things
You know, one thing that's in town this year, serendipitously, is the Marvel Experiences at Discovery Place.
Yeah.
That is a whole history of the Marvel Universe, both in comics and in media. I went to the soft opening night, and I was blown away. I mean, there's original art from Marvel Comics #1. There's a Bill Everett Submariner page. There's a Schomburg cover from Human Torch #8, I think. I mean, there's incredible art on display, as well as like costumes and stuff from the movies and props and all kinds of cool stuff. They're going to be set up at the show promoting that. And of course, it's right down the street. So it's another good thing for people, especially from out of town, that haven't had a chance to, you know, be in town for that, can take advantage of it.
That's perfect.
I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to that. I'm going on May 26th. I'm gonna go check that out. That should be cool.
You'll enjoy it.
I met
Spider-Man
while I was at
really
while I
good.
was at the store. There was a guy.
I
he
said the
came
Spider-Man
in.
room is really good.
Yeah, yeah, I'm looking forward to that for sure. Yeah, there was a guy that came into the store, and I saw he had a shirt on. It said Marvel on it, and I said, "Oh, are you a Marvel fan?" And he says, "Oh yeah, I'm actually building the Marvel exhibit." And so he was showing me a bunch of pictures off of his phone from the setup, and it was I'm just like, wow, this is gonna be great. Yeah, it looks.
I wasn't
it
sure
looks
what
like
to
it's gonna
expect,
be
but
great.
I was impressed.
Man.
No,
Tyler, we got to get out there, man.
no, we do for sure. And
Absolutely.
now I know with like the con, it gets busy, right? And I know there's after walking around for a while, you start to get hungry. For those people that might be, you know, either living in the Charlotte area or coming in, what are some, as a Charlotte local, what are some places you might recommend for them to stop to? I am very partial, and I know it's further from the convention. I love Bang Bang Burgers, which is right across from the store. I usually,
Yeah.
when I come to get my comics, well, my wife and I will often then go to Bang Bang, and it's a amazing big.
Award-winning burgers in Bang Bang. I mean, I think they're getting the top burger award pretty much regularly now. Um, if you were there on Friday, my favorite burger place is a little dive up in Noda called Brooks's Sandwich House.
Yes.
They're only open for lunchtime hours, so you'd have to, and Monday through Friday. So that's a quick hit right there. But they're great. I don't get out as much as I used to. I tell you, all my local haunts are kind of been gentrified away, unfortunately. But there's so many new places in town, especially uptown. I mean, uptown is just full of great places to eat. South End is very close by. That's walking distance. You can take the light rail north and south to the borders of the county, really. So all up and down the light rail, there are all kinds of good places to eat.
They've got that. Have you been to? I think it's called Optimus Hall. Have you been there? It's
Oh yeah, that's great. See
that's
there, it's on the rail too.
all those
Um,
different like places to eat inside there. That's awesome.
it's an awesome food court with really cool vendors there. Yeah, good idea. There's just a little further north of there too is that Soul Meat Food Company has opened another place up that way, and there's like a food court seems to be emanating from that area. It's like 25th Street. So there's another place just a little further north in Noda. What else would I suggest? Like I said, I don't get out enough, but
I
there
know
are a lot of great
it's
places.
Midwood Smokehouse. Not
Even around my store, like you were talking about Bang Bang, I think
Mhm.
Bang Bang is one of about 15 or 20 restaurants within 2 blocks of that intersection.
Mhm.
I mean,
Hawthorne's, Sabor, street, Mexican street food. There's all kinds of good places.
I know when I'm in downtown, I like going to every now and then going to JJ's, right?
Yeah, the hot dog place. That's
Yeah.
on Moorhead. Not Moorhead, East Boulevard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What I'm
great place.
I love
That
that.
one's not on the light rail though. That'd be a
No,
little bit walk down the East Boulevard from there.
yeah.
So you've been I know you've been doing comics for a hot minute, you and hanging out with Mr. Dave and all that and Rick and all those folks. And I know you've been doing it for a while and you've probably seen, plenty of books multiple times over and all that. But are there still what sort of things do you still like when you're at a con that you get like, really excited to see that, still like after all these years that it's like, seeing this book or this like, golden age or silver age, like what are the things that you really gravitate to?
Well, I was a Marvel fan from day one, so that was my first love. I actually finished up my Marvel collection pretty well complete in the early 80s. So by that time I was in the store and I sold too much stuff that I should have kept. So now I'm looking for some of those things I could have gotten earlier that I didn't. And that's particularly the stuff from the 50s. I was born in 54 and I started collecting my birth date and I got really excited about stuff from 54 and it's pre-code stuff and it just kind of spread it out from there. And uh, I buy anything from late 40s through the early 60s right now because I didn't collect that really when I was growing up and in my early years of the business. I kind of let it slip through my fingers. So ECs are right on top. Anything by Frazetta and that bunch of artists from EC. I'm loving Kyle Baker stuff. I collect romance comics and funny comics and horror comics and all kinds of things that I never thought that I would be interested in. But it's all about the art for me. I love seeing those great artists in their early years.
I know for me, if I see like, just show me an Amazing Spider-Man #1 or an Amazing 15 or an X-Men #1. I tell you that just does it for me. You know, giant size X-Men every time, every time. I remember, you know, a few months ago at the Matthews show that we were at.
Yeah.
It's like you just sprung them on me. You were just like, "Hey, need any of these?" And I turned over, not expecting them, and you were holding some of them. I was like, "Oh my gosh!" Like, I almost fell
Yeah,
over.
I made a pretty good buy that day at that little Matthews show. It was a customer that I'd had a long time ago. Um, and he sold me a few books that day, and we reconnected. And I called him a week or two later and asked him about the rest of his stuff. And he said, "Yeah, come on out." I ended up buying, I don't know, probably 2,000 Harvey comics. Now,
Wow.
most people wouldn't be excited about that, but I love Hot Stuff and
Yeah.
Casper and,
I used to read that
Wendy
stuff
and
as a kid.
Audrey and all those. Oh yeah,
Sad,
that's where I started.
Sad
That was
Sack, Richie Rich, Little Lulu. Who else was that? Hot Stuff.
yeah.
I started a little bit with Heathcliff.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
that was well into my professional career of selling comic books when Heathcliff came on. But yeah, I mean, you never know what's going to be offered to you, you know. And I like to find things that I don't have a lot of or any of sometimes. So
Mhm.
I'm all right buying a Harvey collection.
Yeah.
That's one thing I kind of pride myself in as far as a retailer is we have a pretty broad selection of stuff. If you ask for it, I'll look in the warehouse and try to dig it out for you.
I've I've always enjoyed. I can't remember the name of the vendor, but you know, as at Heroes, you know, obviously you can go to buy stuff, but it's always fun to like look, especially things that are out of your price range. I can't remember the vendor, but basically they represented an auction, and I'll have to pull up the picture, but they had like just a can glass case of just like holy grails. And you know, I was just like, can I look at these? Like, I was like, can I just stand here for a second and look at?
He had first Batman, Detective 27. I think he had Batman #1. I think he might have had Action #1.
Let me see. Yeah,
I can't remember,
there's
but yeah,
there is
we were trying to get his trying to get an interview with him, but I don't know that we've
I think I'll have to
yet
touch
to
base
be
with him again.
successful.
He had a Detective
Remember
27.
where he's from? You said Austin?
No auction.
Comic Connect, I believe, is who it was.
Oh, they're an auction house out of New York.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
their retail store is Metropolis. That's Vincent Zurzulo and Steve Fischler. Steve's been in the business forever as Metropolis, and uh, Vincent is came in as a partner of his, and they do Comic Connect, which is an auction house. So I think probably those books were maybe advertised on an auction, or they could have been their own books for sale too. But yeah, they have incredible. You ought to see their art collection at the office. It's crazy. I mean, they've got some of the most important pages you'll ever look at.
Yeah, it was
Better than Marvel experience, even.
Yeah, I would definitely probably fall over.
it
We
was
have a store in New York City. You can go.
it was
You got a ring to get up. It's it's in a not a high rise, but probably on the 6th floor or something. It's a building that you can't just walk into that store, but
it was
they'll let you in.
it was so much at once. Like the Catholic in me felt like I had to like do this or something. You know? It's like, you know? But yeah, it's always good to look as well.
Don't look at it, Miriam. Don't look at it. Keep your eyes closed.
It burns. It burns.
They'll be back. They'll be back at Heroes Con.
Just a little you know, side question here. Have you ever, because I know like there are certain celebrities that love buying these big books, and I mean they just walk around at conventions. Like I'm thinking Nicolas Cage, who just buys, like, you know, whatever books he wants to buy. Have you ever seen Nicolas Cage like at a convention or a show or anything?
or anybody
I
else
have not
that's
met
looking?
Nicolas Cage. Who's that?
Anybody else that might have been like super, super famous that you've either personally sold a book to, or maybe wandering, or not a guest per se at the show, but maybe somebody that just came to the show and wanted to hang out?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's been several celebrities, especially music people that I, would know. Um, Glenn Danzig, for example, he's a big comic fan. In '85, he was actually working for a vendor at Heroes Con, and I met him first then. And I did sell him an X-Men #1 back in the late '80s. And I'll run into him at shows sometimes. We talk. He did an appearance at the store one time too. Um, uh, Adam Jones from Tool stopped in the store one day when they were playing in the area, and that was a very nice day. He likes a lot. So
I
yeah, that was
remember.
I didn't really know him until after the sale was made. And so, what you're doing in town? Because he had said sometime before he was from California, I think, and he's a very rock-looking guy, and he's band's playing, and we talked for a little bit, and finally found out he's guitarist for Tool, and it's like that's cool.
Wow.
And he's a good artist and collects comic books, so that's neat.
I remember at one of the Heroes shows that Nick and I were set up at, I saw walking through was the drummer for Anthrax, Charlie Benante.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh my gosh, that's Charlie Benante. Of course, I had to stay at the booth, but who else
They
did I
didn't let
see?
you out to go talk to him.
I saw Run, I don't know what, McDaniels, I think, from Run DMC.
Oh yeah, Daryl's been here.
Daryl, yeah.
Yeah, we
And,
had pizza.
yeah, he did a video for me. He did a rhyme right there, and I still have that video. That was pretty cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
He's a big comic book fan.
Yep.
Nice guy, really nice guy.
Awesome. So I see summer's coming up, and I'm sure after the con you're going to be looking to relax and sort of decompress from it all, from all the stress possibly from the upcoming show, and also running the store. So what is it that Shelton Drum likes to do outside of the store, outside of the cons? What is it that you like to partake in?
Mow grass.
What?
Oh crap.
No! You're giving us
And
a
I
bad
have no
look.
time to take care of anything this time of year. I just want to have an afternoon to mow grass and
like Hank Hill.
also probably go to some music shows. We've been kind of tied down a little bit lately, and want to get out and see some more concerts and stuff. But not have a whole lot of.
Shameless plug then. Come and see the band I'm in called the Henrys. We'll be playing out this summer around the area, I'm sure.
All right.
Yeah,
Playing.
we got a benefit show coming up for Down syndrome in Kannapolis on the 2nd of June. So we'll be out there with a few
That's
other
before
bands.
Heroes Con. See, I'm going to be nutty.
Oh yeah.
that week.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, we'll be doing stuff afterwards as well.
All right.
If I remember properly, you said last year that as soon as the planning for the show ends, it's already beginning for the next year. So
Well, we're already well into 24 plans. I mean, we got the date. A lot of the creators we asked to come this year said no, but can I come next year? And was like, yeah, let's sign you up now.
Right.
So we're starting to put that list already. Like I said, we've already got the dates and paying for the venue already for next year. So
nice.
yeah, it takes more than a year for sure,
Yeah.
especially with the way the calendar fills up so quickly and fully nowadays. I mean, there's multiple shows to choose from every weekend. So we need to get out there and get our dates secured and start talking to people to come.
Yeah. Does the convention center know that you want to have this show pretty much the same sort of weekend, Father's Day weekend,
They
And
do.
they book it out for you, or has there been any trouble with that, or is it pretty smooth sailing?
It's better now than 20 years ago. We've been at the convention center since it opened in 95, and we didn't use a lot of the convention center in 95, and not for the first 10 years or so. But now, I think they told us we are the biggest consumer show in the convention center. They have shows that probably make them more money than us because we're just renting the space. When they have a big thing with food and all kinds of decorations and setup and stuff, it's good for them. But as far as the consumer show goes, people through the door, we're one of their biggest shows, if not the biggest. So yeah, now they kind of block out our time and give us a chance to get it booked if we want it. That's real nice.
Nice.
It was tough sailing early on when we had to kind of beg for a date. Father's Day was always good though, because there wasn't a whole lot of other stuff being planned. Holidays are not big days for consumer shows in general. Don't plan anything on Mother's Day or Easter, Christmas, or Thanksgiving. Just forget it. You're not going to get anybody to come. So you can usually rent a venue on one of those days real cheap, or at least know you can get it. But nobody wants those dates. We're all fighting for the same ones.
Well, we're looking forward to the show and being there as vendors, and we know it's going to go great. And I'm hoping that after the show you get a chance to mow the lawn, sip some tea or lemonade, or
Yeah,
Check out and check out the Henrys.
yeah. I'll do that one day.
Yeah, we're working on our second record.
I turned into such a homebody during the pandemic. It's weird trying to get back into the swing of doing stuff. We're just comfortable at home.
You said before the show you were talking about bike riding. Is it? And you said you did like an hour or so. Are you able to keep up that same distance during the summer? I know it's brutal here in the summer. Are you able to keep that up? Because I go and run, and I almost pass out.
I used to run. Takes a toll on your joints. I like summer riding a lot. I like the hot weather, and for me, it's easier on a bike than running. I mean, at least you get a little wind, and you can change the gear and take it easy for a minute if you need to. But it's harder to ride in the wintertime when it's cold on a bike than it is to ride in the summer when it's hot.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was in a boot for 8 weeks prior to 2 weeks ago, so I'm trying to get back on the bike and get my stamina back a little bit. It's terrible how fast you can lose fitness in just a month or two.
You had like a Rocky montage.
That's what
you should have had like a Rocky montage, training.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know about that, but I enjoy it. I mean, got to stay after something.
Yeah.
Keep it up.
Well, as we're getting ready to wrap up, I wonder if you could just, tell us the dates one more time about the upcoming show.
Well, it's June 16th through the 18th. That's Father's Day weekend. Tickets are on sale now. Heroesonline.com. You can read all about the show and get tickets if you want to get them in advance. They are sold at the door too. I don't know what else to tell you, but please come see us. It's going to be fun. People there are buying comics as well. So if you got a collection, bring it on out. One of us will buy it probably.
And just want to say, we've all been going to the show for years, and Tim said for us it's like the Super Bowl for vendors, but also I've just this is the comic book show for our region, and everyone gets excited about it. So not just as vendors, but just as like regular guests, we're hyped for it, and we appreciate all the work that you do and your entire team does for putting this on. It's going to be awesome.
Thank you very much. we complain a little bit in April and May, but we feel pretty good latter part of June. So thanks for supporting us. I really, really do. Thank you.
Absolutely. And we'll see you soon. We appreciate you coming on. Best
All
of luck.
right, guys. Keep chasing. Keep chasing.
Yeah.
You said it.
All right.
All right.
We'll see you later.
Bye bye.
Yeah.